Hello friends, family, anybody watching this video, even if you don't know me, hello, how are you? So, I just want to talk about this article I'm reading online here. Arrests plummet 66% with NYPD in virtual work stoppage. Work stoppage. Wow, that's terrifying. Oh my God, they're not arresting people? The NYPD's not arresting anybody? Oh, this is the New York Post. New York Post. Arrests plummet 66% with New York Police Department in virtual work stoppage. So, arrests plummet 66%. It looks like they're saying traffic tickets and summonses for minor offenses have dropped off by a staggering 94% following the execution of 2 cops. So it seems as though the police down in New York City are trying to make a stand against this mayor, de Blasio, whoever he is, don't know him yet. And they're trying to make a big stink. Oh, we're not going to arrest people. Like I said, it seems as though they're only going after major crime. What's their definition of major crime? I don't know. Maybe murder, drugs, like heavy drug sales. I don't know. I'm not sure what their major crime definition is, but if it's anything like mine, well, we'll get to that later. So, arrests plummet 66% with the New York PD in a virtual work stoppage. This is off the New York Post. I also have it here on Zero Hedge. ZeroHedge.com reporting the same thing. So, I mean, it's not just like, people making these false claims. They're not arresting 66% of the people. They're not arresting minor crimes or crime violations or whatever. And they're not summoning traffic ticket violators. But hey, I feel like I've been trained my whole life that if it wasn't for the good old boys in blue to, be out there arresting people, writing traffic tickets and all of that other crap, that society would just break down and there would be homeless people running rampant, peeing on golf courses and, like this other article I read earlier said, that there would be people would form their own armies. There would be gangs on motorcycles with flamethrowers, and society would just break down. You see, but hey, you know what? I don't see that. So, okay, let me get this straight. You're telling me that the New York police, the arrests have gone down 66%, and the traffic violation summonses to court and ticket writing has gone down 94%. Wow. Guess what people are doing in New York? They're going to work. They're watching TV, eating food, going to the restaurants, buying their groceries, living life, getting along peacefully, and not having to deal with bullshit police officers stopping them for bullshit crimes. Like a fucking traffic violation. So what does this actually mean? This actually brings me to a serious point. A really serious point. And it brings me back to my question of, maybe it's high time we start that conversation of, what laws are you willing to kill to enforce? Because that is the only way a police officer or any person from the government can enforce a law, is through force. And physical force. Usually by the barrel of a gun. You mean, you may think that sounds crazy, but it's not. Even these traffic violations, okay? I was in court last week in the Cranberry, New Jersey Municipal Court. I got a speeding ticket. And I had to pay it. Okay, whatever. But anyhow. So I went to court. And at the beginning of court, the judge makes this big speech. He tells you what's going to go on that day, how things are going to go. He's basically setting up the pace for the day. But one thing that really stuck out in my head was that he said that whatever the final determination of your case was, if you owed money, like in my case, I ended up owing some money, I think $180 or whatever. So anyhow, I owed $180, and basically what the judge said was that if I did not pay that $180, or whatever my fee turned out to be by the end of court that day, he went on to say that he does not take payments. Because one of my friends told me, they suggested to me that if I do end up owing money in court, that I should ask the judge if I can make a payment. Well, he took that right out. He said, no, I do not take payments. I'm not going to follow you around and chase you for payments. I'm not a bill collector, blah, 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 blah. Anyhow, to elaborate, or to keep going, he said, if you do not make your payment by the end of court today, there will be a warrant out for your arrest. And no one wants to spend Christmas in jail. So if you owe money today in court, just pay it. Call your family. They're not going to let you stay in jail over a ticket or whatever it is. If you owe money, you need to pay it today, or there will be a warrant out for your arrest. Now, I was the last person to go in court. One of the last people. Maybe one of the last 10, whatever, out of like 100. I spent the whole day there. I had to take the whole entire day off from work, which made me really upset. Really, really upset. Because I missed out on a lot of overtime. I don't even want to... I cleaned up 50 gallons on the ground of hydraulic oil and made 5 hours, what I thought was going to be overtime that day, for nothing. Because... So anyhow, I spent the whole day in court that day. I saw anything from, minor traffic violations of, like, a parking violation to drunk driving. Parking tickets to drunk driving. If you don't pay your fucking ticket by the end of court today, you're going to be in jail. So I don't know if I need to keep going on this other stuff. Maybe you're following me. You're going to go to jail if you don't pay your ticket for your cracked taillight lens. Whatever. Some of these fees are hundreds, thousands of dollars, like a drunk driving fee, thousands. Maybe you should be arrested if you were drunk driving, whatever. But, now it's after the point. I'm starting a whole other conversation, but let's stick to the more simpler things, that if you didn't pay your ticket and that's what you got cited for. Like that speeding ticket that I got. I was going fucking 10 miles over the hour. 10 miles over the speed limit. The speed limit was 25 miles an hour. I was going 35. I promise you, anybody who watches this video, the speed limit should be fucking like 40 or 50 on the street I was on. But they turn it into a speed trap, and that's exactly what happens. Regardless. Now, a warrant out for your arrest. Now, if you're a cop and you're sent to my fucking house, or that's not usually how it works for those kind of violations, but let's say, I don't know, somehow you come across me and there's a warrant out for my arrest because I didn't pay a fucking speeding ticket fee that day in court, maybe because I couldn't afford it, or whatever my circumstances were. Now, don't get me wrong, I paid mine. Whatever. But, if I had not, and there was a warrant out for my arrest, and a cop stops me, maybe it was a fucking cracked taillight, which I saw that day in court. A cracked fucking taillight. Cracked, not even... Cracked, okay? A crack in your taillight. There could be a warrant out for your arrest, potentially. And so now a police officer may one day be in the position where his orders are to arrest you over an unpaid ticket, over a cracked taillight. And if you resist arrest, or if that police officer in any way, shape, or form feels that you are resisting arrest, they can fucking kill you. The precedent has been set. If you resist arrest, you're gonna fucking die. You better expect to fucking die if you resist arrest nowadays. Over what? A fucking cracked taillight? over not collecting taxes on loose cigarette sales? Really? I mean, come on. Cigarette sales. I mean, not to beat a dead horse, but how many times have any of you who are watching this video that smoke cigarettes, had a friend come up to you and ask you to bum a cigarette and they offered you 50 cents for that cigarette? Now, if you were in the state of New York, you're required to collect tax money on that fucking cigarette and turn it into the state. Otherwise, you could fucking die. I don't know. I mean, is that really worth fucking killing over? Because that's what it comes down to. That's the only way you are ever going to enforce that law. Because if the citizen resists being bullied into fucking collecting tax money for a fucking loose cigarette sale, they're gonna fucking die. I mean, seriously. I'm trying to make light of the situation, but it's really not a light situation. It's a pretty serious situation. I really am trying to get that conversation started. And I'm not going to sit here and say which laws I believe should be enforced with force and which laws should not be enforced with force. If this conversation starts, maybe that can be a later chapter of it. But I am very serious with this conversation because the only way you can enforce any law or ordinance or anything like that is with physical force, and it's usually through the barrel of a gun. So let me ask you something. If you are a police officer and you are watching this video, are you willing to kill somebody because they didn't fucking pay a speeding ticket fee? Or they didn't collect taxes on loose cigarette sales? Let me know what you think of this video, please. And if you like it, maybe there will be more to come. We could talk about why was that, later on maybe we could talk about why was that cigarette tax even in place. Nanny government. Nanny knows best. Mayor not de Blasio, Mayor Bloomberg put that law about the cigarettes being taxed, loose cigarette sales to be taxed, because he thought that it would be a deterrent for people who are trying to quit smoking cigarettes. Or in one way or another, he thought it would help people quit smoking cigarettes because in his mind, if he can't buy just that one loose one without paying tax, which is just revenue generation, I mean, let's call it what it is. It's just pulling more money out of our pockets. But he thought that would be a deterrent and would help people to quit smoking cigarettes. So what it comes down to is the state telling you what is best for you and what is good for you. So please, if you've made it this far, please let me know what you think of my video. I'm open to constructive criticism. And I'm also open to debate. Those are two very different things. And I hope you enjoyed the video.